Hello and welcome everyone, this is Type V3, and regardless of what your opinions were on the amazing Spider-Man film, it's unanimous that the movie series toy line had almost nothing of any worth. Except for this, the Ultra-Poseable Spider-Man. Now what makes this figure so enticing is that it seems to have been aimed at the collector audience rather than 8-year-old children. The packaging itself is very simple. No large, ridiculous, and gimmicky accessory has been included, and an emphasis on the figure's articulation has been greatly highlighted. It's as if Hasbro surpassed a posability standard or something. So far, so good. Now let's focus on the webhead himself. Right off the bat, this is a boring looking figure. Because he's based off of the movie, he lacks the superheroic proportions that most Spidey figures have. In place of a large chest and narrow waist, he's got lanky limbs and slightly oversized feet. Even his general stance screams awkward teenager rather than knightly crime fighter. As for the suit, I like the new design as it feels like a modern take on the classic red and blue jumper, but only a Spider-Man fanatic would really be able to spot the differences. The absolute worst thing though is the paint finish, or rather, the fact that it looks like it isn't finished. It would have greatly benefited from some black lining on all the webbing, or some shading just to help some of the muscle tones stand out. Of course, having said all that, I don't think aesthetics are the main draw to this figure, so let's get to the important bit, articulation. With a name like Ultra-Poseable, you should be no surprise that this guy can do some awesome posing. So the head on a ball joint with a hinge so he can do some crazy stuff. The shoulders, ball jointed and a hinge as well, so that's really good. Nice bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and the wrists are cool. They got a swivel and a tilt, so definitely can do that. The only problem is both his hands have been molded in this sort of open palm thing going on, and I don't know. Most Spider-Man figures come with a fist, and then of course his web shooter hand. And this figure would definitely benefit from because he can definitely pull that little pose off. But I don't know how I feel about that he doesn't have that here. He's got a nice ab crunch and such. No waist. The hips are on ball joints, but they're weird ball joints. You can't just bring them straight forward or out. You have to tilt the ball around first and then swing it out. So I don't know how I feel about that because traditionally I like the fact that most figures can kick their foot out straight in front of them, and it means this figure can't. So you can't get his knee to touch his chest like most popular Spider-Man poses. So I don't like that. The other thing too is because it's a design is here on this part of the ball. When you turn it around to put it, say, kick his foot outward like this, the stripe ends up appearing at the bottom down here, whereas it doesn't follow the lining here. And it's a small thing to pick out, but it will bug me. In fact, it bugs me a lot. Anyways, thigh swivel, double jointed knees, awesome ankles. Check this out. It goes all the way down, really cool, and it has a rocker too. So really good stuff there. The other thing too about this figure is in your hands, unlike Marvel Universe figures where when you have them they feel really mushy and like when you bend things together, like let's say this girl's legs, they kind of just stick right out again, and it feels really like rubber or something. This is hard plastic, like it is stiff and it feels good, and it means that he can stand on his own, great balance. I would have preferred a figure stand, but he doesn't come with one. But the most disappointing thing is his feet don't have peg holes, so he can't stand on anything either. So some obvious issues here, but nothing that's really too much of a hindrance. Ultra-Poseable Spider-Man is an interesting figure. He definitely doesn't look amazing, and for all his articulation, he's still got some obvious limitations. But when it comes down to it, he's a fun little figure. As a desk toy, he's perfect, and he looks awesome when displayed with almost anything else. Truthfully, it's hard to hate this guy, even with his glaring issues. Hasbro's decision to throw the entire budget of this figure into articulation was risky, and I think it just narrowly paid off. While I like the simple packaging and that there's no silly accessory included, I would have preferred a figure stand and a better paint job. But again, he's just incredibly fun and the perfect toy to mess around with when you're bored. On the other hand, this figure essentially cost me the same amount as a cup of coffee. So when I step back and put things in perspective, all this criticism and analyzing seems like it's just been a huge waste of time. And I apologize if you're getting that same vibe too. Anyways, this has been Type V3. Thanks for watching, and if you have a vague interest in everyone's favorite friendly neighborhood wall crawler, then I see no reason as to why you shouldn't pick this guy up. After all, you do like fun, don't you?